You're back with us here on the Newsfeed Late Night. In a departure from the approach of its leader, John Magufuli, Tanzania has adopted new tactics to deal with coronavirus variants. Magufuli was well known for his COVID-19 skepticism. Before his death, he often minimized the risk associated with the pandemic. Tanzania now requires visitors to present proof of a negative test result taken 72 hours prior to their arrival. In addition, travelers who previously visited countries with known new variants will be expected to spend up to 14 days in quarantine at their own cost. The new measures come just 2 months into Samia Suluhu Hassan's new term as president following the death of Magufuli. All right, let's talk a little bit further now on that. I'm joined by Tanzanian journalist Ansbert Gurumo to talk about the new approach of President Samia Suluhu Hassan in tackling COVID-19 in the country. Ansbert, good evening, and thank you very much for your time tonight here on the Newsfeed Late Night. Is President Hassan steering the country in a different direction to her predecessor?
Thank you, Thabo. Just to get things right, I think what we call her in Tanzania, we call her President Samia, in fact. Okay. Now to your question. We think Tanzanians and the world, as we look at Samia Suluhu right now, we think she's doing the right things at the right time, and she's leading the country in the right direction. This is what we've been missing, and I think she's doing well.
Has she clearly defined her political trajectory, would you say?
It's hardly 50 days since she came to power, and we are experiencing her soft power. She's soft-spoken, and like I said earlier, she's calculated, cool, diplomatic, conciliatory. She has shown a tone that is defining her presidency. She's not saying, I'm going to be this type of president, but she's behaving in a way that we see a great difference between her and her predecessor.
Okay. And then tell me how she has set a new tone in the country as far as her approach to the pandemic. I mean, we have just mentioned, for example, some of the quarantine measures she's put in place and how she views people traveling from countries with the variant discovered there.
Well, there are a lot of things that have been happening since she came to power. First of all, she has acknowledged the existence of COVID-19, different from the denialist president that ruled Tanzania before her. Her predecessor never accepted there was COVID-19, and even when he was forced to accept like there is something like this, he still was in denial of the measures that should be taken to counter the pandemic. But Samia is quite clear on this. She has been saying this several times, and she's saying now and then that Tanzania is part of the world. Tanzania is not an island. We cannot exclude ourselves from the rest of the world. And she has formed a special committee to advise her on how the country should tackle the pandemic. That's one way in which you see the difference between her and her predecessor. Yeah. Two, I think 2 days ago, the national carrier, Air Tanzania Corporation Limited, suspended flights to India because of the situation that is happening there, because of the variants that has happened. So you see, even the system itself is working right now because they know there is a problem, and we have to take some measures to control this. She has even said it today. On the second day of her state visit in Kenya. But you see, the tone is changing and the actions are trying to unfold differently from the way we are used to in the past 20 years.
Yeah. Is she seeking to deliberately separate herself from the vision of the late President Magufuli? And how comfortable is she with that particular comparison?
Well, verbally, she has been trying to insist that she and Magufuli are one and the same thing. But from the actions she's taking, from the appointments she's taking, and from some of the silent actions she has taken to even fire some of Magufuli's most trusted guys, she is not one and the same with him. So that is one. And I think she's comfortable because she knows she's doing what people want a leader to be doing in a country. She's giving smiles to the people. She's talking about democracy for the first time in 5 years. She's talking about freedom of expression, freedom of the media. She's talking about repealing repealing and amending some obnoxious laws in the country. He even said it today that we cannot be slaves of our own laws. So if some laws are oppressive, we should be able to sit down and say, no, this is wrong. Let us repeal these laws. Let us amend these laws because we want people to be happy. We want people to do business. We want people to be free. We want the people to feel like they're in their own country. So there is a clear shift of direction from her predecessor to hers.
Now, as president, of course, she also assumes the position of the CCM chairmanship. How is she navigating internal party politics, but also navigating the opposition in Tanzania?
Well, in her first speech to the parliament, like 1 week ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago, she made clear that she intends to meet the opposition, speak to them, listen to them, and, attend to the concerns of the opposition. That is the first statement in 5 years from the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Two, barely a week ago, she assumed the leadership of CCM, the ruling party. So now she is the CCM chairperson. And immediately she appointed a new secretariat, which is composed of completely new faces. And these new faces show you the difference between those guys that were in the office with Magufuli and the ones that are coming in with her. And I've been following up what is happening on the ground. She has been applauded for removing some of those Magufuli guys in the party, in top positions, and putting in place some of the guys that are seemingly, they're seemingly cool, diplomatic like herself. So this is a person who is going to bring Tanzania back to the shape that it was in before, the fifth phase government, administration came in power.
Yeah. Talk about the obvious policy shifts that you are seeing, particularly, for example, in the orders that she has put forward in dealing with the media. I believe she ordered the Ministry of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports to rescind its decision to ban and shut down independent media houses.
Well, the president's statement was very clear. We know she said she wants the media that were banned, to be, she wanted the government to make sure that the media operates freely, so that even the media that were banned will be able to operate now. But a few hours after the president's statement, the same person that had been banning the same media in the previous administration tried to, to misinterpret the president's statement. And if you ask me, I think that's one of Samia's weakest links, weakest points, because I did not hear the president saying, no, I didn't mean this, I mean that. So it has been a very slow move from what she said and what the permanent secretary of the Information Ministry said and what is happening on the ground. But I'm informed she's even thinking of repealing some laws that are very oppressive and repressive. Some of them being some of the laws that are impeding media freedom. And you know what has been happening.
Yeah. How far is she building on the economic trajectory that was set by her predecessor and moving the country pretty much from poverty into middle income type of economy?
Of course. To be fair, it was not the Magufuli administration that was able to move Tanzania from this position to the lower middle income position of Tanzania. It was an effort from the Mkapa, Kikwete, and his administration. But it was not completely a Magufuli administration. But what you see, businesses have been frozen under Magufuli. people have been running away from Tanzania, going to invest in Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Dubai. And some of the businesses have been, they have not been operating because the business environment was not friendly. Now, Samia is coming in with a different approach. She is calling on people to come back to Tanzania and invest in Tanzania. And some of the personal and corporate bank accounts that had been seized under Magufuli have been released. So, some businesses are breathing now. Some of the businesses that had been shifted, some business people who had been considering going to Malawi, Zambia, and other places have declared they're staying in to invest in Tanzania because they're seeing a political will from the president. So there are so many political statements that have been given by the president. Only we are waiting for some real policy change, legal actions like amendments of laws, because it's not enough for the president to be saying, I want this, I want this, I want this. We want the laws to be respected. We want the constitution to be respected. And she happens to be the person who is speaking so much about observing the laws of the country. And some of these laws are not really friendly for the business. And so it's not a good thing yet because the president's statement is not a law. Her predecessor was saying similar things in a different way, and you see what happened to Tanzania. So we want this president not to only say good things about what she wants to do, but to make sure that these statements are in accordance with the new friendly laws that are going to guide the businesses and the general life of Tanzania.
Ansbert Ngurumo, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us tonight. That's a Tanzanian journalist there for us, talking of the incoming of the new president of Tanzania, President Samia Suluhu Hassan. We continue